some good clapping.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Job sucks.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we really do here, actually.
You gotta get
Yeah.
a different calculator.
All right, team.
I'd like this one.
Ready to discuss some real urgent stuff? So we're talking Batman and Robin. You okay with that?
Batman and Robin, huh?
You got to really put your heads together for this one. Check this out. All right. So we got Bruce and Dick up here.
Which one's Dick?
We'll say this is Bruce and this is Dick, okay?
Okay.
So then we got two poles. We got the Bruce pole and the Dick pole. And then at the bottom there's actually the bat sacks, but we're not going to talk about them yet. But anyway, to get from point A to point B, they go down the poles and then they're Batman and Robin. So we don't see what happens in this part. So basically the question is, what the hell happens there, man? Because I'm sorry for erasing that, man. But anyway, we got to figure out how do they change into Batman and Robin.
I think what happens is they go down the pole, and as they go down the pole, there's probably a room that they probably go halfway down, and they get off in a room, they get changed, and then they go the rest of the way. That's probably the most reasonable way that it
So there's
happens.
just a chamber in the Batcave
Yeah, exactly.
between...
What he's drawing right there. There's a chamber that they get off in. They have their suits hanging there, and they get changed real quick, and then they continue down the pole, and then that's it.
Why have they never hinted at this chamber?
I don't think there could be a bat dressing room because if there was, I'm pretty sure they would have a label because they label everything.
That's true.
They're
Well, maybe
obsessive with
the
labels.
label is like halfway down. So since they never show that, maybe like the label is in the room
No.
when they walk into the room.
There can't be because when they go down the poles, you see on the back wall it says access via Batcave.
Oh yeah, you
So-
know what? It should say access via like
Dressing
room.
chamber.
That dressing
so
chamber.
if the writing on the wall indicates that they go directly to the Batcave, then I'm willing to bet there is no room in between.
Okay.
They go down the poles and they're Batman and Robin.
So it's instantaneous.
Yes.
So that means that there's some kind of device.
He's like Wallace and Gromit. You know, the gadgets?
What happens in that?
He has the dressing device. He
Yeah.
puts the shoes on.
The
it
bed
does it-
slides him out
yeah,
of bed.
okay.
He goes through a machine that puts his clothes on for him, and he
Yeah.
drops into his breakfast.
Well, Batman and Robin, they do have a lot of technologically advanced stuff, so I'm sure they could invent some kind of quick way to get their clothes on and off. So I guess
gotta
there could
be
be like
quick.
mechanical arms that rip their clothes off. So what's funny about that is if they're going down the pole and then like a mechanical arm or something rips their clothes off for a second, so for a split second they're naked, like when they're in the bat pole.
You think Bruce and Dick are both naked?
That's why they don't show it, because they're naked for a second when they're in the bat pole.
They
So
could
it's
have
kind of
underwear.
embarrassing.
No, they can have underwears on. Who cares?
But if there's no
Oh,
chamber
well-
in between, where does it happen? Like, they don't jump on the thing and it immediately strips their clothes off. You don't see like a half second of naked Bruce Wayne.
Well, that's why they don't
before he-
show it on TV, because they can't show nudity.
Still doesn't answer the question, how does the clothes get on that fast? I'm thinking that the clothes are like already there on the poles and they slide right into their clothing.
No, that wouldn't be efficient. I think
No?
what actually happens is that they're completely naked all the time, but there's body paint when they come down, just sprayed on like
Really?
Yeah, but
So
Batman,
it's a bunch of colored spray things.
but Batman wears a cape, and a cape can't be spray paint.
I could see the cape.
If it was like that, where they just go down the pole and then their outfits were just hanging there, and then they sort of slip into the outfits, it'd be funny if they showed those shots, because then you'd see like they're both naked. So basically, there should be a shot where like their balls go right into like the underwear.
I don't know why they didn't put that shot
Yeah,
in.
I wonder why they couldn't show that on television.
I don't think that anyone wants to see ball insertion in the bat suit. But you have to figure out, though, it's very tight. You know, you have the utility belt. I don't think that you can just insert yourself into that. Something
yeah, that's
else
true,
happens.
actually. If you go down a pole, like a belt, you can't just slip into a belt. A belt has to be put on. So
Maybe it's like a system of like little tiny blades you don't see. If they jump on it, you know, clothing first, you can just pull the clothes.
because it's so ridiculous.
if you jumped on the pole wrong, then it would cut up Bruce Wayne, and then his original suit would fall down the pole dressed in the bat suit.
So they can't ride each other's poles.
Well, yeah, if Bruce Wayne jumps on Dick Grayson's pole, will he end up in Robin's suit?
Robin's pole would probably snap, because Robin's pole is really thin, and Batman's pole is like, you know, it's a huge pole. He grabs on it and goes down the pole.
Why are
Bruce's
there
pole
two
is wider.
Why is there two different pole sizes? There's a poor Robin.
Because they go up the poles too. There is the, what was it, the compressed steam bat pole lift. They have buttons they push, and then it shoots them up with steam.
So that raises another question. So I can understand you have your the outfits hanging, and then they go down the pole, and maybe they slip into the outfits. But what happens when they got to go back up the pole? Because then you got to think, okay, what do they have? A suit and tie just sitting up there? So if you go up a pole, there's no way you can slip into a suit and tie unless they were hanging upside down and went up the pole upside down, and then their legs would have to like go into the pant legs like upside down. It just wouldn't work out.
And like, how long does it take for the machine to reset itself? Like, if they go down the poles accidentally and it's like a false alarm or something, and they have to go back up, like, are their clothes ready for them already, or do they have to like sit there naked and wait
how
for
do
the
those
clothes to
get
be
there? Like, are the clothes hanging there? Does Alfred like hang them
Alfie has to
there?
do it.
But he would have to be pretty goddamn fast.
Well, okay, so they come down, the machine puts their new clothes on them, but what does it do to their old clothes? Do they have to, like, does Alfred have to sew them back together? Does it just tear them apart, or does it, like, neatly pull the clothes off of them? The suit or the cardigan or whatever? I don't know.
Bruce Wayne's cardigan just gets ripped
Gets
to shreds.
shredded.
It's a shame they didn't show that on TV, because I would like to see their clothes just ripped off.
And
You
then
want
while
to
they're-
see naked Batman?
I mean, I didn't want to see that part.
So tell me what happens if the Batman is wearing his bat outfit, but he gets sexy with Catwoman, and she tries to take off the bat outfit. Can it be taken off without the machine? Or is it like a big chastity belt? They need the mechanism.
Batman
the
can only
stripping
have
mechanism.
sex when he's, like, directly between the upper level and the lower level. His clothes can't come off other than that one
you
brief
mean like
moment.
really? They do it on the poles, like
Yeah, just
like in
clutching with his thighs on the poles.
One thing that we have to bring up is that there is a lever that Alfred uses to negate Bruce's change.
So is there also a Robin negate switch?
We can assume.
Well, okay, so there's a switch for both.
Is it smaller?
First, they open up a bust of William Shakespeare. Now, I'm thinking Shakespeare, to be or not to be Batman or to be Bruce Wayne. You know, I'm just pulling your leg, alternate dimensions.
They go down a pole, and then they go into an alternate dimension.
Their clothes go in an alternate dimension. They stay in the same dimension.
So what you're saying, there's a device in the bat chute that has something that transports their clothes into an alternate dimension.
Yeah.
And it transports their other clothes from the alternate dimension at the same time.
Because look, you know, we got the three, you know, spatial dimensions, and then the fourth dimension is time. By the time you get to the 2000th dimension, Robin is literally a Robin, and then if you keep going further, it becomes Robin Hood, and then Little Red Riding Hood, then Little Red Riding Robin Hood, and you all know what comes after that. But we're not going to go there because it gets embarrassing.
What the hell just happened?
So